All right, what is going on, guys? It's Adam AK Marf. Tonight we have a really great show for you. We're going to be talking about everything that is happening right now. Of course, there are shortages all over the country for gas. People are panic buying. It's a mess. So stick around. We'll show you all of that in just a second. So much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Tripping. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Remember, nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on the show, including our wonderful mods. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. All right. With that out of the way, my name is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Tonight we have a lot lined up, so without further ado, for anyone new, you can follow along with the second device. You can actually grab any device and go on to marfooglenews.com, and it's very easy to navigate. You just look for tonight's thumbnail, coming soon, sorry for the inconvenience, and then when you click on that, it will say continue, and then of course it will bring you to every single article, every single tweet, every single video, anything that we show you here. We take the time before every single show to make a bibliography of all of our sources. So you actually have all of the original articles. You of course have all of the original photos, videos, and where they came from. Now on the bottom there is actually web-only content. This is too hot for TV. It may be too much in one direction where we cannot cover it without being biased or one way. And then or stay neutral. Again, I think that most of this should stay neutral as it can. And then on the right side, if you do want to support us, we are truly independent. We do not have any multi-channel network. You guys are our backbone. So thank you guys for supporting us. We would like to expand and turn into a real news agency, but of course that would take a lot more than what we've got now. So thank you, everybody. Let's bring in my co-host Dex and my tech guy and my internet brother. Dex, what is going on? How are you doing tonight?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So just so much here. Just want to remind people too, if you're missing notifications, if you're not getting here on time, or if you're getting a notification at the very end, I don't want to see longtime Foogle family say that, because you should have our notifications. Again, I saw somebody who's been with me for 3 years, and they said they showed up at the end of the show because of late notifications. You can get ours. Again, that is not going to be late. All of the platforms are having issues with being, what was it? Oh, yeah. Equal to all creators? China increases spending 500% to influence America. This is, of course, according to Axios and the data within. It says new foreign agent filings are finally detailing a massive Beijing propaganda operation that's fueled a 6-fold increase in Chinese foreign influence efforts in the U.S. in recent years. So we have covered this step by step and even told you that they have over 1 million employees on their roster. Just their entire purpose over in China is to go online and to basically kind of take daddy's orders. They can make pretty much anything trend. It doesn't even take 1 million people to make something trend. But imagine if you had 1 million people to view something, to share something, or to post something or retweet or any of that. You would be in a huge position of power. And people don't realize that, but if you have that many people that are able to do your bidding online, you can basically shape how people think of things. Now, I'm sure we, again, just to put that in perspective, Facebook has their own kind of members that are all around. They have 30,000 employees doing kind of the same thing. Compared to China's 1 million employees that are strictly, basically, their whole job is to be online and to do whatever their country wants. So pretty crazy. It says why it matters. Propaganda is central to China fulfilling its geopolitical aspirations, and its effort to sow discord and disinformation in the U.S. have very real consequences for the American business, political, and social climates. It says, according to the Center for Responsive Politics, Chinese foreign agent spending has skyrocketed from just over $10 million in 2016 to nearly $64 million last year. Thanks largely to its stable propaganda operations, China is now the top spender on foreign influence operations in the U.S. So we know for a fact, with data and with a confirmation, that they are the top in the world for spending the most money to influence things here. But yet, where was everybody pointing their finger to when there was any kind of influence happening here? I just think that's kind of funny. Anyways, you can finish out this article here, but I'm sure, Dex, you have something to say on this one, because obviously you're pretty up in arms about certain things, especially regarding this subject.
Well, yeah, it's interesting that they've recently filed, I guess, to be a foreign agent for one of their news agencies. I think we're going to talk a little bit about how many people, I know you've said it, but they've got so many people that they've lined up to manage and help push out their narratives when they need to. I mean, that's a really, like you said, that's a powerful tool. That's a very powerful tool.
I mean, some of the facts here are just incredible. It says, state-run Chinese news service Xinhua is the latest to reveal some of their inner workings of its U.S. operations. Xinhua's U.S. arm officially registered as a foreign agent last week, 3 years after the Justice Department notified the company it was required to do so, as first reported by Foreign Lobby Watch. It says its initial filing under the Foreign Agents Registration Act is largely generic, describing Xinhua as an independent legal entity that's simply, quote, subject to government oversight. So it says, in fact, the media organ is owned by the Chinese government, run by senior CP officials, and widely seen as a Beijing mouthpiece. So one thing that happened over the last 4 years before our new admin is there were a lot of members of Congress looking into what is actually happening here and looking at certain things like this. There was actually several actions taken against China and their companies. For instance, Huawei, or Hua, or however you want to say it, that company was basically barred from using any kind of U.S. services. They were barred from, in actually relation to that, Taiwan could not give them chips. So basically one of their largest cell phone companies that was competing with Apple and, of course, Samsung, they were actually on pace to actually beat their sales combined. All of a sudden could not have Facebook, could not have Google, couldn't have Maps, you couldn't have pretty much anything, Gmail, nothing. And they couldn't have the fastest processors in the chips. So they basically ripped the rug from underneath them. So the previous admin basically made it extremely difficult for China to do different things. And now what we're seeing is now there's things like this happening, which kind of make people scratch their heads, and they're going, how are you letting our adversaries set up things like this in our country? Just kind of crazy. Anyways, so you can go through, there's a lot more facts in here that you definitely want to read. Again, don't want to bore everyone here, but this is pretty serious. We're talking about infil and, of course, tration. Army of fake fans boost China's messaging on Twitter. It says China's ruling CP has opened a new front in its long, ambitious conflict to shape global public opinion, Western social media. Liu Xiaoming, who recently stepped down as China's ambassador to the UK, is one of the party's most successful foot soldiers on this evolving online battlefield. He joined Twitter in October 2019 as scores of Chinese diplomats surged onto Twitter and to Facebook, which are both banned in China. It says, since then, Liu has deftly elevated his public profile, gaining a following of more than 119,000 as he transformed himself into an exemplar of China's new sharp-edged wolf warrior diplomacy, a term borrowed from the title of a top-grossing Chinese action movie. It says, quote, as I see it, there are so-called wolf warriors because there are wolves in the world. And I'm guessing wolves, right? In the world. And you need warriors to fight them. Liu, who is now China's special representative on Korean Peninsula affairs, tweeted in February. His stream of posts, principled and gutsy reposts to Western anti-Chinese bias to his fans, aggressive bombast to his detractors, were retweeted more than 43,000 times from June to February alone. But much of the popular support Liu and many of his colleagues have seen to enjoy on Twitter has in fact been manufactured. So all of this this push and all of this crazy kind of, I guess, this humbumble around him is all fake. It's all the Chinese government. In fact, they're puppets. It says a 7-month investigation by the Associated Press and the Oxford Internet Institute, a department at Oxford University, found that China's rise on Twitter has been powered by an army of fake accounts that have retweeted Chinese diplomats and state media tens of thousands of times, covertly amplifying propaganda that can reach hundreds of millions of people, often without disclosing the fact that the content is government-sponsored. So what you have is that you have thousands, if not millions, of bots out there, and they are basically boosting everything that they want you to hear. So think about it this way. You are surrounded by information, and almost everybody, it's really hard to see something that is said almost everywhere and say that's not true. It's actually why I think that part of everything that's going on right now, people can't accept that it possibly couldn't be, so that something couldn't possibly be fishy here. How would they? You sound crazy when you say what most people think is true right now. Again, so many people agree on something that sounds so bombastically crazy that it makes you look nuts. It's something that people can't get. And I think that's because if you have so much information around you and everywhere you look, people are telling you something, you are very likely to believe it. Even the most kind of, rock hard, discerned, trained kind of theorists here, it's hard not to believe some of this stuff. And why? Because it's everywhere. And you think it can't be everywhere if it's not true. But what it is that they are using social media, they're using phones, they're using these devices, these platforms to literally shape us. And nobody understands how it works, but they do. They have think tanks and million-dollar scientists, billion-dollar scientists most likely, that are teaching them how to make everything more addictive, more controlling, more to the point where you can't put it down. People have panic attacks without their phones. People are worried about having the mark, but half of those people that are worried about the mark already have one that is attached at their limb that they can't put down. And if they do put down, it's about 4 inches from their face on their nightstand. So just understand that almost everything and anything around you could very well be fake. And not what you think is fake. In fact, the fake stuff that they say is fake is usually real. That's the most frustrating part about it.
The numbers in this are significant. Like this Oxford Institute, they went in and tried to do their own investigation, and they were able to identify almost 27,000 accounts alone. And we've heard from military officials that they claim that there's a 1 million person online army that they have. In just this one example where they were looking at these diplomats, they were able to find almost 27,000 accounts with over 200,000 times that they had pushed out or retweeted the content to try to get it viral.
Think about that. That's nearly a football stadium full of people all directing you where to think and what to do. And think of the kind of effect that could have exponentially just a couple people sharing something out is better than, one. If you have 10 people sharing out your stuff, then you have each one of those people has a chance of getting that to somebody who is then going to share it. But if you have 27,000, that can start a wildfire. That starts something where everything and anything can get out super far just in an instant. That's why I think there are some of the hashtags that we have right now are being pushed because of different for different reasons that again we probably won't even talk about here. Release the Quack, and thank you for the diamond over on D Live. Groovy Grandma says love from Alberta, Canada. Boys and Mrs. Marf and kids. Well, thank you, and thanks for saying hi to the kids. Queen BTP says, love these guys. You guys rock. Thank you. Well, Queen BTP, salute. Thank you so much. Mystic Misfit, Bear Claws, Truth Wins, Great Conspiracy, and, of course, MS10723. Thank you for being here. We've got Occam's Razor over on YouTube, Wolf of Sheeple, Melanie Patch. We've got Blaze, Chadwick, Lucky Blue, Hacker Games, B-Dog, Brett Hines. What is going on? CJ Blaze. In the mod section, we've got Able Bodied, George S. Jessa Vitamin McConnelson. I think I did that right. And we've got Trinity, Seeking Truth, and Deanna Valley. Thank you guys all for showing up early. And then, of course, Watcher 2, 3 years in your car. Never give up, Fugalonians. Yeah, of course, Watcher 2, never give up. Not happy. That is happening all at once, of course. I can say I'm glad we are prepped because of creators like yourself. Thank you. Stay safe. Follow your gut, says Jesse Scorpio. Jesse, that does mean a lot. And seriously, when you guys tell us that you are prepped because of us, that lets us know that, something is sticking, So I do appreciate that. Teresa Horton says, Marf, please mention to people on East Coast that it probably is a good idea to buy lock gas caps. Think about it. Thieves, that 95% of cars tonight for the rest of the week will be full. That is a very good point. Teresa Horton basically made a suggestion that, think about this, the entire East Coast. So Dex, going back to the gas, and we're going to hit this here in a second, but you actually could not get gas. You couldn't get premium gas, and then you went back to even get regular, and regular had run out.
Yeah, no, well, I went to one gas station, and they had literally put the caution tape around the entire set of pumps. Nobody was allowed in. They had nothing. I went to another gas station. They didn't bother telling us. I tried to get premium. It didn't work. So then I went to the mid-grade, and it was pumping I think I got $1.10 worth of gas in about 5 minutes. I didn't understand why it was so slow. Then they finally came out and said, oh, by the way, we only have the cheap stuff. No diesel, no premium, no mid-grade. So, it's not easy to find gas right now, at least where I am.
So in Georgia and much of the East Coast, you have this massive shortage. This pipeline is still shut down, by the way. We'll hit that in a second. That is so important. Half of our infrastructure for fuel just got knocked out by hackers, and we told you that this was going to happen. And this isn't even the bad stuff. This isn't a grid down situation yet. So this isn't something that people can sit at home. But think about this. Right now, there are going to be, over the next couple of days, a lot of cars that end up running out of gas and can't get more. So they are trapped. Think about what you would do if you were to start a major, massive event. You'd probably wait until a lot of people could not travel or get stuck or whatever. I'm just saying, if I was an adversary, I would look at that and go, well, half the country can't drive around. And now, of course, there is gas, but apparently you might have to drive, few hundred miles to get it in some places. So very, very, very insane stuff. And then we have car windows shot out in Riverside County as a flurry of suspected freeway shootings continue. So what is happening here is that there are all these random bang bangs, and it's all happening randomly, and it's shooting out windows. Dex, this is a really strange story, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, on one part of it, it doesn't appear to be a heavy bang bang. It's like a BB or a pellet. But this has happened. I want to say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different maybe seven different vehicles at 7 different days. And it's like this ongoing thing that's happening in California right now. And it kind of reminds me of, events that happened like this in I think it was in Washington or somewhere else where we had, the highway thing going on. That was a lot more deadly. But I mean, having windows shot out of your car while you're driving down the interstate,
you're talking about
cause accidents.
The man and his son that were the snipers.
Right, exactly, that episode.
But so this is at least 3 vehicles driving on Riverside Freeway had their windows shot out with BB. Now, when you think of BBs, you think of like airsoft, but of course they do have 22 caliber. You have 22 caliber BBs that, depending on the BB gun. Again, to say BBs, that's just the thing that it shoots out. There are BB weapons, right, that can actually shoot through solid wood. There are actually, if you look at some of the BB channels, there's a couple of videos that go over all the kinds of different BB, / weapons. Some of them, by pressure or even PSI, these things can go through. They've even done tests with Kevlar or with a standard body with kind of that ballistic flesh, and it went right through. So you're talking about something that could very well be a deadly act here. This is, technically, these people could get attempted, murder if something happened. It says late Sunday night and early Monday morning, the latest in a series of such bang-bangs that have occurred on Southland freeways over the past several weeks. The first bang-bang was reported on Sunday at 10:38 p.m. According to California Highway Patrol, a driver was traveling along the eastbound 91 freeway between Van Buren Boulevard and Adams Street when his right rear window shattered. And then seconds later, his front right window also shattered. He pulled into an In-N-Out restaurant parking lot at Madison Avenue in Indiana Street and called 911. One of his windows had a hole, which appeared to have been caused by a BB. So this is, again, it says in that case, a white Ford Transit van pool was traveling west on the freeway near Main Street when 2 of its driver's side windows were hit with what appeared to be a pellet from a BB or pellet gun. Now, remember, the pellets are made for hunting. They're made for taking out big pests. In fact, you have some that can take out bigger pests / humans. So this sounds like if they got two pops off and hit the window, that this is most likely a rifle and that it is high powered. If they were able to quickly do it, probably a one shot. I don't know if it would be a one shot though, because for you to load, it must be a self-loading or one that goes right through. Pretty incredible. Plus, to shoot through a window like that, it's not just a little airsoft. It's something that actually has pressure behind it. Have you guys heard about this? If you have any information, let us know. Of course, you can also send videos to playmyvideo@marfooglenews.com. Human Tiger says the commenters who put down Marf info could be those web soldiers too. Well, after covering that story, we'll probably get a lot more of those comments, huh? Egyptian Princess, and thank you, Human Tiger. That's appreciated. I always see the comment that says the 60 people that dislike this or whatever else. We have almost the same amount of dislikers on every single video. What that tells me is that they actually watch every video all the way through, because then they pick out stuff that they hate me for. And I've told you guys that it reminds me of my grandpa listening to Rush Limbaugh, who he hated. He hated Rush Limbaugh's guts, but he listened to every single show in the kitchen, and he would yell at the radio like Rush could hear. And when he got a chance, he would actually call in. So if I'm the new Rush, I guess that's a compliment. And then, of course, Backwoods Ingenuity says, hey, Marf, the pneumatic bang-bangs that are 1.177, 22, 38, and 50. The last one isn't a typo. There is an air-powered 50. So I do know that as well. And actually, there's a Type 2.0. There's a 20. And there's a Type 2.5 as well. The less rare. I know because I got pretty much into them for a while. I was doing all the replicas as well. In fact, you can get a replica of almost anything. Back when I was 16, 17, I thought it was the coolest thing to have a replica Beretta, and it looked super, super real. Again, Mickey the Ironworker, they didn't sell me gas unless I... Oh, yeah, that's right. Not going to do that one, but yes, that was yesterday. Thank you again, Mickey the Ironworker. And then Stephen Bilks says that he has not been able to get gas for 3.5 days. Or, I'm sorry, he hasn't been able to get gas for 3 days, and they said that they will not be fixed this week, and they will not be getting any for the next few days. That's incredible. So what do you do if you're on E? I guess you're stuck. Also, we're going to show you here in a second here. There's pictures. People are trying to take advantage of this, selling gallons and things like this for extraordinary prices. In fact, it was so extraordinary, we don't know if it was a joke or not, or if it was like it was a mistake. Anyways, moving on. Thank you all for being here. Just want to remind you, if you have not already, make sure to go over and check out the EMP Shield contest that is happening right now. First off, if you don't know what EMP Shield is, these are devices made by a company that actually makes EMP protection for all sorts of devices. Your house, your home. The most popular is your car. It takes about 5 minutes to install, and it can block against all 3 phases of an EMP, E1, E2, and E3. And it can protect you against solar flares. So again, the natural kind. Not only that, it can actually protect against lightning, which in the Midwest and over in the East Coast, you guys get a lot more than we do, but it's definitely a good protection that way as well. This is the same company that is now contracted with agencies like DHS, DOD, and of course, now they are officially on the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. So if they're protecting themselves with this, why are we not? If you go and use marfooglenews.com/EMP, not only will you get our huge discount, but you will also help the channel. It's a win-win for everybody, and we do appreciate everyone that has purchased them already, or if you have thought about it in the future. Now, again, the contest, this is the cool thing. We always ask them, please let us on any contest, so the ability for somebody who may not be able to afford one could possibly get one. So we are now tagged on this one again. It's marfooglenews.com/contest. There's multiple ways to enter, including daily bonus entries, but you must go to marfooglenews.com/contest. Easy ways to enter, like just going and subscribing to another YouTuber, going and doing something, liking something. It's really, really easy. So make sure to go check that out, marfooglenews.com/contest. All right, and then we're going to talk about the Colonial Pipeline hack. White House weighs Jones Act waiver amid fuel shortage. So they're trying to figure out how to get the gas everywhere else. And Dex, I believe, we need to get the phone lines open. I'm going to open the phone lines right now. If you guys want to call in, the number to call is 224400-MARF. It will be scrolling down below. Again, the number is 2244-006273. If you want to catch that again, that's 2244-006273. And then if you have not called yet, I heavily encourage you to do so. If there's 3,000 or 10,000 watching, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't worry about that. Just give me a call and let us talk about something. All right, and then after Colonial Pipeline hack, White House weighs Jones Act waiver amid fuel shortage. It says that the B admin is weighing whether to waive the Jones Act temporarily amid rising gas prices and shortages following a cyber attack on the largest petroleum pipeline between Texas and New York. Waiving the rule would allow non-U.S. maritime vessels to carry oil from ports on the Gulf Coast to the one along the Atlantic coastline, where a gas shortage is in effect following the outage of Colonial Pipeline's operations. Now, something I have not heard anybody say, think about this right here. I'm going to read a line for you. Waiving the rule would allow non-U.S. maritime vessels to carry oil from ports on the Gulf Coast to the one along the Atlantic coastline. So Dex, just to translate that, does that mean we're talking about grabbing outside of our country vessels to come into our country and bring this stuff? That's like not the standard?
Yeah, I think that's how I'm interpreting that. Is there's certain restrictions on where they're allowed to go and what we're allowed to ship in, and so this will adjust that and allow us to bring in oil into different areas and gas into different areas so that we can get around this pipeline issue.
Do you think that there's any way to sneak something in if you wanted to? Like, say if you needed to get something bigger on a bigger ship in and do it quietly, could you possibly do that? I wonder. I just wonder, because think about it. If you knew what they would do on this, they know about this act, right? This act is to stop that. And of course, how would you get around that? Well, knock out one of the biggest fuel lines, and now they are basically going to possibly waive it, letting non-U.S. maritime vessels bring stuff in. Just a thought. And it says the Transportation Department, quote, has started the work needed to enable consideration of a temporary and targeted waiver of the Jones Act, including a survey of whether there is sufficient Jones Act qualified vessels to carry the necessary petroleum from Gulf ports to the eastern seaboard. It says that the agent on Sunday issued an hours of service waiver, which provides greater flexibility to drivers who are transporting gas and diesel and jet fuel across 17 states, well as the District of Columbia. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm told reporters during a briefing. It says, quote, these are not easy solutions because there may or may not be the right rail cars. There may or may not be the right water ports available for the Jones Act to be able to respond to this particular area of the country. The pipeline is expected to be substantially operational by Friday or over the weekend. She added, it's not that we have a gasoline shortage, it's that we have a supply crunch. So we have all the gas in the world, it's just not moving. What did they snatch? What the heck did they snatch in this ransomware thing? The whole thing just boggles my mind. And we're going to get to that here in a second. We're going to cover the actual hackers, or the hackers they say did it. This is all like super fishy, weird, spooky. I'll tell you why here in a second. It looks like Dex is screening calls, so we should have somebody on the phone very shortly. First off, let's. I think this is actually the next one. Is it? Energy U.S. fuel supplies tighten as energy pipeline outage enters the 5th day. This is insanity right now. It says supplies of gasoline tightened further in parts of the United States on Tuesday as the shutdown of the nation's biggest fuel pipelines by hackers entered its 5th day, raising concerns about price spikes at the pumps heading into the summer driving season. The Colonial Pipeline said it was working to substantially resume operations by the end of this week after a cyber attack forced it to cease operations on Friday, choking off nearly half of the East Coast fuel supply in an incident that underscored the vulnerability of U.S. energy infrastructure to hackers. I hope people realize that this is under the same boat. This is under the same roof. This is the Department of Energy, U.S. Energy. There is a reason why we have suggested EMP Shield since before we were affiliates. Anything that we end up doing is because we either believe it's going to help somebody or save somebody in the end. The top U.S. energy regulator issued a call on Monday for mandatory cybersecurity standards for pipeline operators, encouraging pipelines to voluntarily adopt best practices in an adequate response, said Federal Energy Regulatory Commission Chair Richard Glick. Wait, his name is Richard? So you can also call Richards. Oh, man. The FBI has accused a shadowy criminal gang called Darkside for the ransomware attack. Darkside is believed to be based in Russia or Eastern Europe. This is a bunch of BS. This is I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. The facts say that they don't have facts and they have speculatory ideas of who did this. It says, according to cyber experts who point out that it avoids targeting computers that use languages. Oh my gosh. Who point out that it avoids targeting computers that use languages from former Soviet republics. Are you serious right now? It avoids computers that use Russian language because they're like, oh, we're not going to, hey, you are people. We're not going to mess with your computes. President JB said on Monday, however, that he did not believe Russia's government had sponsored the hack. See, everybody is being pointed to hate these guys. Well, these guys, everybody, the social media and 1 million employees are trying to say, oh, they're just great. Those guys are just great. Did you see he shot a three-pointer from half court? Yeah, I just like him in general. Yeah. Did you see his leather jacket? He's just cool. Too much? Probably. A statement issued in the group's name on Monday said, our goal is to make money and not creating problems for society. Okay, but yet you aren't from this society. Ransomware is a type of malware designed to lock computers out by encrypting and data and demanding payment to regain access. This is stupid. So you're saying not even the Russian government, and they're actually telling us that that they don't think it's the Russian government, that it's some jackasses that were able to shut down half our infrastructure. I'm sorry, but I would rather have them tell me that this is the Russian government or the Chinese government or any other government than tell me that some half-ass hacking group shut down our infrastructure. And no offense to the half-ass hacking group, by the way. I like everything. This is a good computer. I can't get another one, so I think you guys did great. In fact, you guys were heavy hitting way above your level, apparently. Because you were able to take out half of the fuel infrastructure in the United States of America. Wow. And people still think that we're crying wolf. Very soon you guys are going to meet the wolf. And people are going to, and probably the wolf warrior, as the CCP calls it. Florida resident Katina Willie told Routers on Monday she went to 5 gas stations before she found one that had fuel available. It says, quote, there were lines at 3 of the 5 stations I tried, she said. Other motorists said that they were also seeking to fill up for fear the situation could worsen. If the disruption stretches on, fuel suppliers could ship by trucks and rail instead make up for some of the shortfalls. The Department of Transportation on Sunday lifted driver restrictions on fuel haulers in 17 states affected by the shutdown. Why are there restrictions on those fuel haulers? Is it a safety issue? I just wonder if now we are going to have an unsafe issue because now you have so many fuel trucks going in areas where they're not supposed to be, or where they're restricted because of the danger of it. You guys can let me know down below if you're a trucker that specifically moves fuel around and know if that's a thing or if that's why. Why are there restrictions in 17 states? Is it a safety issue? And are we throwing safety to the side because basically we, have to have gas? Is this opening a door for something bad to happen? That's the only thing I want to know. And I'm going to ask you guys, because I guarantee you somebody in our audience is a much, much more qualified person to answer this than myself. You guys are some of the smartest people I know. So, again, you guys are absolutely amazing. And then we have the Colonial Pipeline hack forces American Airlines to add stops on long-haul routes for gas to refuel planes. It's pretty much the whole story there. Again, American Airlines, the American Airlines, has to take pee breaks. This is affecting a ton of stuff. Again, this is supposedly just a small little group. And get this. The supposed group of hackers, even though they don't know who it is, but they kind of know who it is, and they think it's these people, apparently they're talking to them or they're making statements. It says hackers reportedly apologize for disrupting Colonial Pipeline operations, vow to be more selective. Sorry guys, we didn't want to like mess up your day or anything, you know, everybody's going through the demic and, you know, sorry guys. We meant to only hack things that would, you know, screw them over. That was an actual hacker that just hacked into the show and said that. The actions of the hacker group are expected to cause gasoline supply disruptions in a dozen U.S. states after the ransomware knocked out the networks of a pipeline that delivers nearly half of the fuel to all of these regions. Hackers from the DarkSide group, who were accused by the FBI of performing the Colonial Pipeline hack, have issued on their website, they have a website, an apology for the fact that their actions caused fuel supplies disruptions in the U.S. The Bleeping Computer Tech News website reported. It says the hacker group insisted that it never in its plans to cause such a significant disruption for society and promised to vet their targets carefully in the future. DarkSide also stressed that it is not affiliated with any governments and acts alone. Nothing fishy here, folks. And they're able to be like, oh, sorry, no, we meant for them to just to pay us on the first day. Sorry, guys. Why is it still shut down? Is it because they did not pay? Did they pay? Nobody's talking about that. It says and the fact that they're coming out with statements like this. How? What? This is a quote from the hacker group. We are apolitical. We do not participate in geopolitics. Do not need to tie us with a defined government. And look for other of our motives. Our goal is to make money and not creating problems for society. From today, we introduce moderation and check each company that our partners want to encrypt to avoid social consequences in the future. Am I in the flippin' Twilight Zone, Dex?
Yeah, so just let me explain a little bit how this works. So this I'm gonna call them a company, this organization, they act as an organization to make the software. They don't necessarily do the actual hack. They turn around and groups use their software to then do the hacks. Does that make sense?
No.
So they actually work as a team just to continue to build the software and make the software. You know, they called it, you know, ransomware as a service, right? It's like a group that builds the software, and then these other groups come along and use it. And I guess what they're trying to say is, well, we're going to vet these people a little better so that they're not going after certain things. I don't know. It's, you know, even the spelling things here and things, I don't know what part of the world this English is coming from.
No. It's like they're purposely doing that. Like they're purposely trying to sound like they're foreigners. And sorry, we mess up country, guys. It's like, what are you? This is insanity. Is anybody seeing how absurd this looks? This looks so flippin' obvious. But then they tell us this, and the 99% of the people at their water cooler that got to work by bus because they're out of gas say, oh yeah, I know. I heard it's like a Robin Hood group and they give to charities. And like, yeah, well, it's not Russia. No, they said it wasn't Russia. They found it, and they actually apologized for it. They admitted to it. They even said they're not going to do it again because this really sucks. In fact, they're going to like vet their crimes. This is like, these are polite crooks.
And one of the charities, they gave $20,000 of their Bitcoin money to. Because they publicized it, the charity turned around and said, no. They threw it out and said, we're not taking it.
Can some of us get that? We got Foogle family members that need that? Robin Hood. This is just stupid. This is so blatantly set up. Oh, and of course they couldn't take it, right? Maybe they called the charity and goes, hey, we need you to decline this. This isn't, this is just for apolitics and geopolitics. And it's a three-letter agency. I just don't believe any of this. That's my personal belief. But the proof in the pudding, the mainstream, we're giving you the actual sources so you can get the correct information that that you are getting shafted, whatever. So there you go. Half of the country doesn't have gas, and that's a huge infrastructure blow to everybody. That is scary. This is one of the scariest things that's happened, and yet they'll choose better next time. Then maybe they'll only affect McDonald's, so you can't get your McChicken next time. Because we didn't think that going after the pipeline would affect gas. Idiots. Idiotas. Dex, it looks like we do have a call. First off, I do want to remind you, today's show is brought to you by NordVPN. If you want to protect yourself in the cyber world with all these jack monkeys running around, I would highly recommend going over to NordVPN. If you don't know much about virtual private networks or even computers in general, this is the best one. When you download NordVPN, it's a virtual private network. It hides your IP address. It has an easy mode. It's literally a toggle switch that says on, off. And when you push it on, it just protects you. It puts your IP somewhere else, and it does everything for you. So you don't have to be a genius. In fact, you just download it, and that's it. Boom, you're done. You can get a humongous savings, and we get a commission if you use the special code Marfoogle. Again, it's a win-win. You get a huge discount and pay less than you normally would, and part of that even goes to us. So that would be amazing. MarfoogleNews.com/VPN. Again, one of the highest rated in the land. I even heard that they've been knighted because Nord is a knightable person. It's actually an app, but you can't knight an app. Okay. Well, I tried. Let's go to our caller. It looks like we have Cynthia Pillow. Oh, and we've got a picture. I'm going to show the picture you got here, too. Thank you, Dex. Cynthia, you are live on Marfoogle News.
How's it going?
How are you doing tonight? So what's going on?
Oh, hey, I just wanted to say thank you for reminding me that there's a gas shortage. At 1 a.m, I went and got gas, and I was on empty.
And are you guys out now?
Yeah. Yeah, we are, actually. Kind of funny.
I'm glad that we got to it
There's
early.
already a few... Sorry, you go ahead.
Well, no, people thought we were exaggerating. We were actually telling our viewers, like, go get gas now. We weren't saying, like, it's the end of the world. We specifically said, you're going to be out of gas.
Get gas.
Go get gas. And a lot of people did, so I'm happy.
And I went and got gas.
Which, Cynthia...
And it was at 1 a.m, so...
You probably can't see it, but we have a picture from Facebook. Somebody had a five-gallon gas can, a 5-gallon, so the bigger gas can, full. It actually, in parentheses, full, for $200 or best offer. It says no lowball offers. I know what I have. And
These people are insane.
I know. And he actually took a picture of it, like, we need to know what a gas can looks like. Like, he actually took the action, was like, oh, wait, push it aside. People are just the dumbest. Okay, so.
Yeah, they're insane. But by the time I went there at 1 o'clock in the morning, like, some of the pumps were already having that yellow caution tape on there. But there was still some there. that I was able to get gas. I was like, thank God.
Well, so
because I'm really bad at checking my gas. I'm really, really bad. Like, I was on Gaslight.
well, and a lot of people do that. I mean,
So I went.
Again, all through college, I try. I would try my hardest, but I would always be putting $5 in when it hit the gas light. And I even knew that my Honda had 40 miles after that light came on. How do you know? Because you run it all the way out to sea. That's when you are definitely getting by.
Well, mine says you have 35 miles until you're empty, but it just goes to empty.
Yeah.
So mine lies. So I have to get gas like when my light goes on, or I'm just gonna be stranded.
Well, so Cynthia, did you just call in to say thank you? Is that really what was going on?
Dude, everything is because of you. My life is saved. I've started prepping because of you. I have bug out bags starting. I'm trying to get my husband on board. He's not quite there yet. Now he was pretty impressed with the bug out bag situation. But it's funny because the things that you give us news about, you're just telling us what you find. Like 3 days later, he'll be like, hey, there's this going on. And I'm like, yeah, I knew about that like last week.
Yep. Well, it's just funny in general that it comes out before.
I'm like, hello. Because he thinks we're all cookie. And I'm like, we're not cookie. Like, this guy's facts is the only news I listen to. And it all has come true. Like, hello. It is what it is. One day, hopefully he'll wake up.
Well, there's something to be said about the patterns. We see the patterns before it happens. Usually, we're always a couple days.
Yeah.
But it's really great when we're 3 or 4 months ahead and we let you know about the big stuff. But it honestly, it's not. Yeah. We're just like Dutch sense in earthquakes. We're trying to teach you how to do this too. You keep track of this stuff, and you'll start to see the patterns before it even happens, to the point where you don't need us.
Yeah.
So I hope that everybody understands that.
It's getting insane, but I mean, all I have to say is keep your eyes on Jesus, stay prayed up, have faith, and this is our temporary home, and hopefully more people will start to wake up and realize that the government, is not what they seem to be. And that's it.
All right. Well, thank you, Cynthia Pillow. You have a great night. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. That was Cynthia Pillow there, and thank you again for calling in, and I'm glad that you got your gas, but who knows how long it's going to be out for after that. They say Friday substantially resumed. What does that mean? Why are they even waiting? And one thing I don't understand is if this group already gave $20,000 to a charity, was this some other hack that they did? By the way, Dex, that doesn't make sense. So if they gave money away, that means that they did receive money. Did they not give access back to this company, or did they give access back, but now the company has to change?
No, the company, because they publicized it, and the company, the charity heard about it. The charity came out and said, they went and found that and returned it and said, we do not want money that's coming from that.
Well, I understand that, but that means, where did that money come from? Did Colonial Pipeline give them the money, and therefore why didn't it just open right back up? Or did they were so exposed that they have to restart?
Thing, right?
Okay, that's what I was asking.
This is a group that makes money for a living off of these ransomware attacks. So at one point they made a public comment, oh, look, we gave money to this charity to make themselves look good, or maybe that's because they are trying to uphold their values of being a Robin Hood, right? But that's what they did, and then that sort of just was backhanded to them.
Incredible. This whole thing is just super fishy. Global Witness, I'm sorry I didn't see that earlier. Support Marf. Let's chat soon, brother. Well, thank you, Global Witness, and thank you for stopping by. Jacob Israel always talks extremely high of you. And again, I'm sorry that we haven't connected earlier. Again, as you know, Jacob is one of the best people on and off cameras, so Bert, Darkside Death Toll. If you guys haven't, by the way, go check out Jacob Israel, one of the best channels out there. He is almost at 160,000 subscribers. Most of you could get him there right now. And then Bert, I love it. Bert, Darkside Death Toll. How many EMS have been effective? Death toll will grow daily. Darkside Death Toll. So saying from this, I don't know. Human Tiger, again, thank you. Imagine if someone named Hunter set up a hacker group in a Russian-speaking country like Ukraine, then got paid off by U.S. citizens. Yeah. And then maybe internal attack to push for electric cars. They only want cars on the road when gas is short. Oh, they're the only cars on the road when gas is short. Sorry, your spelling there got me off. Sad Sky, thank you, and thank you for your support. That is a very good point. I cannot believe that. Think about that. Electric cars are having no problems right now. And then Gone Girl, thank you. Gone Girl 777 just did a huge super chat, says, I love you all. D-Live, no lemons. Got 2 iPhones, 1 TV, 3 channels running, multiple tasking. LOL. Foogle fam strong, love you. They took my video down. Meh. Gone Girl, what? I didn't see the last one. I saw that. So what was it?
So I'll you know what? I'll put a link to it on the website. It's obviously controversial. It has to do with I'll just say it has to do with magnets, and I'll leave it at that. Because if I start tying the things together, then it'll probably get flagged.
It'll ding us. Okay.
Yeah, but it's magnets and that thing that lots of people are doing that's very controversial right now.
Oh, okay. I can't believe they're going after the tiniest. Hey Marf, they make pneumatic. Oh yes, I got that one. But backwards, thank you again. So Russia actually denied it. It says a warning sign is posted along the path of the Colonial Pipeline in Garnet Valley. Russia has denied any involvement in the cyber attack on the pipeline. Russia on Tuesday denied any involvement in the cyber attack that crippled an American pipeline responsible for almost half of the East Coast fuel supply, and lamented that the U.S. doesn't cooperate more with Moscow on countering devastating threats. Russia has nothing to do with these hacker attacks and had nothing to do with the previous hacker attacks, Dmitry Peskov, a spokesman for Russian President Vladimir Putin, told reporters Tuesday. It says, we categorically do not accept any accusations against us. Peskov comments follow growing speculation in the U.S. that Russia at least tacitly approved, if not orchestrated, the ransomware attack over the weekend on the Colonial Pipeline. What do you think? Okay, let's do a vote real quick. 1, if you think Russia's behind it. 2, if you think they were complicit, so they were not behind it, but they were okay with it. Or 3, if they had nothing to do with it at all. Type that into the chat. Let's see what we get here. And who knows? This should pop up here. And there it is. Look at that. 3. Lots of 3s. 1, 2, 3. We've got Sesame Street here. Wow, incredible. It's too obvious. Nothing at all. China and not Russia. CCP. 3. I mean, it seems pretty. I mean, that's a big percentage. So that's very, very much so. Somebody said 4 America. Who knows? To be honest, that actually would make sense if you see all the previous things that have happened before. Wow, that is incredible. So either 3, a few 1s there, a few 2s, mostly 3s, and then mostly people saying that Could very well be somebody else, something else, or ourselves. Thank you for weighing in on that. I like how somebody got a 420 in there at the very end. All right. I'm in Washington, so that doesn't faze me. It's everywhere. Go to Starbucks and a dispensary in the same building. Hackers launched cyber attacks on more than 24 other companies after Colonial Pipeline shutdown. After. It says, who else is being held to ransom? Hackers launched cyber attacks on more than 24 other companies after they had shut down the Colonial Pipeline. Hackers were able to launch cyber attacks on more than 24 other companies across a range of industries after shutting down the Colonial Pipeline, according to reports. At least 24 other victims, which have not been named, were also affected by the ransomware attack, Bloomberg reported. It says they were helped by private sector companies and U.S. agencies who helped disrupt the hack. It says the 5,500-mile Colonial Pipeline was shut down on Friday, blah, 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 by, of course, the hack, seemingly by Russian-based cyber criminal group DarkSide. So do they have proof of this? How is every single article pointing it in their direction? Are they just taking the word of a website blog that says, yeah, we did it, and we'll try to vet our targets better next time? How do they know it was them? It doesn't make any sense. This is like obvious pointing you to something when where is their proof? Where is their evidence? Oh, we found IP addresses attached to this or that. No. They're saying that they're general, and the fact that it's not attacking any computers that use Russian or Soviet Union, former Soviet Union languages. So basically saying like, oh, we won't harm our own culture, our own people. That's stupid. That's just stupid. They're saying that out loud makes this incredibly suspicious. Thank you, Marf. I'm also a reporter of the truth, says Gunpowder Productions. Well, very amazing. Thank you for stopping by. And if you guys haven't checked out Gunpowder Productions, I have not, so I will make sure to go check it out as well. Okay, so now we're getting into this. This is crazy. So, Dex, we might even want to go over to the phones first. We're going to talk to Captain Phil, a solar storm hitting tonight and over the next few days. But first off, this article here is really, really quite freaky right now. We have so much going on. We're about to get into the is stuff and to this. It is, once it popped off yesterday, it didn't stop. There has been volleys back and forth. That's one thing. This is another. We talked about it yesterday briefly, and now they say that there's even more going on. Dex, let's get on Captain Phil from Washington, local here to Washington. In the meantime, let me pop open his stuff here.
Hey, Adam.
Hey, Captain Phil, what's going on?
Not much. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. So solar storms. What's up with that?
Earlier, you said you did your EMP shield commercial. Well, hopefully everybody's got one because starting tonight, Earth is taking a CME, a coronal mass ejection, and it's going to be a solar storm over the next couple of days. It's not quite going to be a Carrington event, but you might want to look north for the Aurora Borealis. And the solar storms, the CMEs, are linked to earthquakes around the planet. And lately, the entire West Coast has been really shaken up really bad, including on the Cascadia and the San Andreas. And anyone that's watched Dutch since knows that they are connected. If one goes off, so will the other. So the entire West Coast is on high earthquake watch for the next few days. So how do we follow this kind of stuff? I was just kind of trying to Google, but well, you can go to suspicious observers on YouTube, and they do morning solar reports from the sun and some of the Earth science also on how the sun affects the Earth every morning, as well as watch Dutch Sense for the earthquake areas around your area. No matter where you are on the planet, if you watch Dutch Sense, you'll get to learn the earthquake areas and whether you're in a good or a bad spot.
So this was 15 hours ago. Suspicious Observers did a video called CME Expected Tomorrow, Galactic Magnetic Wave Detected. Why do you think the public never hears about these things? Or, the general public?
Well, the general public should be aware of the fact that the solar events do have an effect on Earth. And now the mass media, like any of your typical news channels on the TV, will keep you distracted with all the politics or what's the latest in Hollywood, or anything to keep you distracted from what's the bigger picture. Like the media typically is not going to tell the mass public just that we are at the verge of the big conflict with 3 other countries. And we're all in a pretty predicament, and the mass media is trying to keep everybody focused on the ground and not look up. And you know yourself that something big is coming. So,
well, hey, I want to thank you for giving us a heads up. Also, I'm right here on spaceweather.com. It talks about the CME is coming, hurled towards Earth by an erupting filament of magnetism. On May 9th, the solar storm cloud is expected to arrive on May 12th or 13th. It's not an especially fast or powerful CME, but it could spark a G1 class geomagnetic storm and auroras at high latitudes. What else is interesting here, it says the sun swallows a comet, which is really cool. So while I'm here, I'm going to pop this up. It says the sun swallowed a comet. Soho chronograph spotted the dirty snowball making a headlong plunge into our star. One comet went in, none came out. What a crazy thing here. Oh, look at that. So look, bam.
Actually, the sun's been taking a lot of them lately.
Yeah, there's something going on out here. Look at this. That's nuts.
And the supposed debris field that Earth is passing through now. Remember a few months ago, all the science channels got all big on a particular asteroid that was getting brighter and brighter, and they were expecting it to get even brighter, and all of a sudden it supposedly broke up.
Atlas, what do you think happened there?
Yes. Well, before it broke up, the reports were saying that it was leaving a debris field that Earth was going to be going through. And guess where we are now? Guess what's been coming into the atmospheres lately?
But also they're going to tell us, there's Chinese rockets that are also falling down, and it's on purpose, and we knew it, and we're going to be tracking it. Yep. I bet there's going to be a lot more of that, too.
But everybody around the planet have been seeing a lot more things coming in to the atmosphere. More and more people are reporting it, the sightings.
Yeah, we showed data that it has quadrupled one year after another. Over the last 4 years, the actual sightings and the groups of sightings have not only gone up, but since 4 years ago, they've gone up consistently, and now they have quadrupled from 4 years ago. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, well, right now, Earth is supposed to be going through the debris field of Atlas.
That is no fun. I honestly did not know that. So thank you so much for calling in, Captain Phil, and thank you for giving us a heads up.
Yeah, I've been watching you since the beginning when you were doing it in your car during your work breaks, pre-Dex. And I got a little puzzle piece for you. remember the Russian sub that had a problem? And,
yes.
They said they avoided the Earth catastrophe.
Yeah, the planetary catastrophe.
Within a day or two of you reporting that, either the day before or day after, or maybe 3 days after you reported that, I just happened to be surfing through kid channels, and I found a kid cartoon about a nuclear sub that went down, and they had to have, some kids had to have superpowers to save the sub from blowing up the Earth.
Weird. That is super weird.
Yeah. Kind of like Simpsons programming type weird.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. And if you don't know what Captain Phil is talking about, there was a Russian sub which 17 sailors or 16 sailors lost their lives in a fire. And at that day, the Mike Pence turned his plane around. The Cobra meeting, the Europe did an emergency meeting, a Cobra meeting. Russia had their Ministry of Defense all of a sudden emergency meeting. Our president, T-Man at the time, had a clear schedule and never had a clear schedule. If you guys know, they're talking about it, especially right now, is that he never had a clear schedule. That day, everything was all of a sudden cleared. Pence was supposed to be going somewhere. They said first his plane turned around. Then they said, oh, he never left. It's fine. And it was all because of this Russian secretive sub. They say so secretive that nobody even knows what's on it. At their funeral, the commanding officer told the families at the funeral that all of them died saving the world and averting a planetary catastrophe. What the hell happened? We still don't know. So that's what Captain Phil. Well, Captain Phil, we're out of time. Thank you so much for calling in, and thank you for giving us a heads up, and thank you for watching for 3 years now. That's seriously awesome.
Yeah, have a good night.
You're always welcome on my show. Thank you. That was Captain Phil from Washington and a local. Thank you, Phil. I really appreciate that. Backwoods Ingenuity is on the phone. Story about why he started prepping. South Carolina. Let's get Backwoods Ingenuity, and then we're going to go into the and we've got some pretty big stuff here. Backwoods Ingenuity, what's going on? You are live on Marfoogle News.
Hey, Marv, how's it going?
Hey, so what's happening here? You've got, it looks like you wanted to tell us a story here.
Oh, yeah. Back whenever I was just getting out of high school, actually, I had bought a camper. I was intending on that being my first home. And for some reason, I had always thought about keeping like, extra food and stuff around just in case. Well, when I looked at the camper, I noticed that my fridge could also run off of propane as well as the heater and the stove. So I said, well, that's good. I'll just keep a bunch of propane around. That way I can run everything just in case like my power goes out during a storm or something. And we had an ice storm come through sometime later that year or the following year. And it was a really bad ice storm. It was bad enough that the power lines were so encrusted with ice that they were hanging down like maybe 7 feet off the ground. They were low. They had the roads shut down and everything. We're not prepared for ice and snow down here. That's not something we get. But I ended up having like an inch thick sheet of ice all the way around the outside of my camper. And because I had this extra propane and stuff laying to the side and this extra food stored inside, I was actually like a nice comfy 70 degrees sipping hot chocolate and coffee and everything else, and had fresh oven baked pizzas. I went over to go check on my dad, and sure enough, he had a propane heater, but he didn't have any way to cook. So I was able to bring over some food to him. And the truck I had at the time had 2 gas tanks. It was an old 91 or 92 F-150. And I actually had a switch on the dash so I could go back and forth between my gas tanks. And I used the jumper cables for the battery of the truck to charge the battery on the camper, which is what ran the lights and the exhaust vent for the heater and the oven. So I'm sitting there. I've got a way to recharge the batteries for the camper. I've got plenty of propane sitting to the side. I've got 2 or 3 months worth of food. I'm staying warm, and it already filled up my the fresh water tank before all of this happened. And everybody else on the road didn't even have running water because the pipes had all froze.
So you were sitting pretty while everybody else was screwed. Pretty
much. And just that one incident, it is like a light bulb went off in my head. I was like, you know what? It feels a lot better to be that one guy that maybe everybody thinks is a little bit off, but then whenever something actually happens, they're like, oh, wait a minute, he might be onto something here.
Oh, okay. So do you know how the previous caller called in and said her husband's coming around? And by the way, if your husband is watching tonight, miss, you know, I try to explain it is that you need to actually show them where there is actual fact, history there that the CIA had basically made preppers look crazy because of certain events that happened in the past. And they talked about preparing as a bad thing, right? So there's that stigma that has been drilled into our thing that a prepper is somebody crazy or end of the world or a sign holder that's like, the end is nigh. That's not it. That it's responsible. It's something that is, you're doing the exact same thing that the military does, that the government does, that the police do. Why is it crazy that if civilians do it? Because there's a power structure. They want you to depend on them in a bad, situation. That should not be it, especially in the United States, but anywhere, Australia, Europe, wherever you are, you should be able to have insurance on your food and water. It's just crazy not to.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, if the government does have this dependency, it's kind of like the, you go to the national parks, you're like, don't feed the animals. Yeah. They become dependent, and then they stop learning how to fend for themselves. But then what happens whenever they stop getting handouts? Everything starts turning back on the people, and they start reclaiming that territory pretty much. Because they'll eventually go back to their instincts. But the government doesn't want that. They want to have complete and total control over it.
They would much rather you look up and depend on them than to be independent and it starts a fire that they can't put out. Because we outnumber them, if you know what I mean.
Right. And it's just common sense to have a backup plan. You don't know when the lights are going to go out. So it's good to have like an extra, like a power bank battery to be able to charge your phone just in case you need to call somebody. You don't know if the cell phone towers are going to go out. So have a CB in your car just in case you end up with a flat tire and need some way of getting help to change that tire. Maybe you don't have a spare, like I've seen some people not have. It's crazy. They think that anyone who has backup plans is crazy. But
well, and by the way,
we as preppers, we've seen it over and over again. It helps.
And backwoods, almost every state or every country or every province that you may live in, almost all of you have had a local regionalized emergency or a power outage or a week-long a blackout, or you've had a tornado or you've had an earthquake or you've had these things. Honestly, you're never going to be given a call 10 minutes before an earthquake and said, hey, you might want to hit the store before this happens. It's just not going to happen. And it's trained in your brain to think, oh, it's not going to happen to me. But it is. It's going to happen to you. It's Murphy's Law, but Murphy's Law is a real thing when it comes to disasters because you will be a disaster. It's just a numbers game. As far as if you live to 60 years old, you most likely will be in a serious, incredibly serious disaster. We're talking about, once a century kind of disaster. I think that we are in a once a 1,000 years. We're going to be in a disaster that no one has ever seen in history. I think we might even see multiple. So, well, thank you, Backwoods. Is there one more thing you want to say before you go?
Oh, yeah.
Your
quick
famous
reminder for the rest of us over here on the coast, hurricane season is not that far out, so you might want to go ahead and get those candles, the camp stoves, propane, or blankets, or anything like that you need. Go ahead and get ahead of the game. Don't wait until they say that the hurricane is 24 hours out before you start ransacking the shelves at Walmart and everywhere. Go ahead and get the stuff now, so whenever it does start getting close, you don't have to do anything but just make sure your house is in order.
Absolutely. That is best advice tonight. Now, you also have something you put in chat a lot. You've been here for a long time. What is that you put in chat?
Live free, travel light, and work hard.
Perfect. You have a wonderful night. Backwoods Ingenuity, if you guys haven't gone over, and I believe, do you have a channel, Backwoods?
I do have a channel, but I haven't had a chance to be able to post anything in a few months. And I'm hoping to actually be able to put the story I said today into a video and maybe make some more videos soon. It just depends on what my schedule looks like. Everything's been crazy lately.
Backwoods, we will continue to push people your way as long as you continue to put effort into making videos. Just keep going, okay? Don't give up.
All right.
All right. You have a great night. Be safe. Be prepared. And he says, live free. He's got a saying, too. I love it. Vol111, passing the love forward. Appreciate you guys. Joe Ho Fu. I think it's Joe Ho Fu. The U.S. just bought natural gas from Russia. Oh, yeah, but they hacked us. Yeah, okay. Crystal87. Thank you, Joe, for your support there. Umatoru 5252, thank you for following. I had to take a second look. I didn't want to say something there. Nelly 14, Scooby-Doo right, Grand Maravan. I love that name. The Vlogstar, thank you. We've got Morky Mom. Man, my eyes are going. You know, sitting at the computer here so many days, it is killing my eyes. And I've had 20/20 vision my entire life. I don't think I do anymore. It's really crazy when you start aging and things just start going like really fast. Kishara, you guys know, getting locked in gas travel rations walls. I like how you put that, Kishara, where you put the periods. Getting locked in gas travel rations walls. Great way to put that. Vault 111, thank you. I would give you my PC if anything happened to you. In fact, the last time my PC broke, people stepped up and helped me. That was when I was very small and I didn't have we didn't have any ad revenue. I was making like $24 a month on ad revenue. We're still like $900 or $800 a month or something. But I didn't have enough money for like a $1,500 laptop. So people have always stepped up. Even people that aren't even around anymore, I still thank them for their help that they helped me continue doing this. I really am super appreciative of every person who has financially supported us. Now it's not just me. It's of course myself and Dex. And we want to bring in more people. We want to expand this. So thank you, everybody that has stuck with me from when I was doing videos with my cell phone in my car to this. I am very blessed to have people around me like you guys, and I really do think about it every day, how much I appreciate each and every one of you, and I just really am very thankful. Hopkinson, thank you so much. Joho, thank you. Stand Strong Woman, thank you for all you do, Adam Dex, and Awesome Mo. Kim Solomon, God bless you and your family. I wanted to let you know that there is a rocket headed back to Earth with alien samples of asteroid Bennu. There's so many weird things that are going on at the same time. Xenos Trophic Truth says, love the Thunderbolts and Sapphire projects and Foogles. I love that too. Tina DeSantis. I wonder if you're related to you know who. Thank you for your support. And again, tell your long lost relative there to sign that bill in Florida. All right. Yeah, so now we're going to get into, so this is pretty crazy. Dex, do you want to pop in? The LOD mayor describes Krishnak civil conflict in the city, says Army must deploy. This is pretty nuts.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about yesterday what started, and I guess it had been going on for a little bit, but it really escalated yesterday and about a lot of the rockets going back and forth and the dome trying to protect everybody. Obviously, that has continued to escalate. And what we're seeing now, especially in the city of Lod, is actual conflict on the streets. And that town happens to be a town that has both sides living in it. It's populated heavily by both sides. I'm trying to not use the words to describe everybody, but they both live there. They coexist, right? And because of that, now this tension that's going on, and it's really a lot more than tension, right? It's pretty serious what's happening. That has now spilled over into the streets, and it's so bad that he's not even asking for police. He's saying we need, some serious help here to deal with this, because he's labeling it a civil conflict.
So, yeah. So we have actual, and then this is spilled over. So I think we're going to cover it here in a second.
Well, yeah, and so the spillover not only in the country of Iz, but it's also happening in other cities. So we don't have the videos of it, but I'll put them on the website. But
New York,
there's actually been in New York and in Minneapolis, and I imagine this is happening in other cities, that pro sides of this conflict are coming out, doing their form of a protest, if you want to call it that. And then when these two sides come together, as they did in New York, there was actually conflict there. Now, mind you, it's more what we would traditionally see in protesting conflict, not necessarily what's going on over in Iz. But this is obviously a very sided event that's going on, and it's gonna touch a lot of people around the world.
So just to hit this, because maybe the personalized escorts that escort large creators with large audiences, maybe they've left by now. Israel, Palestine, those two facing off not only there, but here. In New York, you've got pro-Iz and pro-Pal going at it, instead of missiles, fistles. Did you like that, Dex?
That was good.
Desk.
Be careful.
So obviously pretty bad. And then we have rockets take out 2 Israelis as Israeli strikes, killed 26 in Gaza. Not exactly equal, because one of them has the Iron Dome and then the other doesn't. It's not exactly, but it basically, Dex, the point is that they are sending so many.
This has gotten
past
a lot more than just, somebody sent something over the wall and they knocked it down, and that shouldn't have happened to hundreds are coming across, and it's inundating the system there. Obviously now they're seeing casualties on both sides, and one side is going to be a little bit stronger than the other just based on the technology, so this is getting to the point where it's going to be harder to come together and say, well, let's knock this off, because each side is going to become more emboldened to retaliate for what has happened to them, right?
Now, and again, this is to the point now where there's more rockets going over, that even their fancy Iron Dome system, which is a rocket system that shoots rockets out of the sky, it is not getting all of them. So they're sending so many at the same time, which we saw the videos. They said, if you increase, we'll increase. And that was sent out by the PAL side of it. And they did this video, like a video propaganda thing, like it showed them having all of these missile launchers everywhere, and it showed them like flying a helicopter over, 20 of these launchers, basically saying, we'll launch so many, you won't be able to stop it. And that's exactly what they did. So this has gotten extremely hot over there. And if this could go to the next level, this is where the world starts getting involved. Of course, Israel is a place that is sacred. Same with Palestine. I mean, it's like this is one of the hottest points on earth, and it's just one of many. We have NK, we have Russia, we have China, we have Ukraine, we have of course, Taiwan. We have all of these things happening all at once. I don't mean to be the cardboard holding, end is nigh. But some of us actually do believe. In fact, I talk to other YouTubers that are afraid to tell their audience what they think because they don't want to scare people. And these are people that are well connected, that are talking to people all the time. And they're the people that won't say, hey, I have an insider source, and they're saying we're about to go to conflict, right? These are people that are very very humble, and they're not that kind of person. But they do have an inside source saying that. But they won't say it just for any, they won't just say it to get views or anything like that. They're beyond that. So I do think that people are starting to realize like this is part of a bigger thing. This is all happening in baby steps, and then there's baby steps, and then there's these big, huge tit for tats, and then there's these events that just change everything. We're not even at the big event. We're at the pre-show. We have the band coming on beforehand to warm us up. So have fun while you can. Israel Hamas launches rocket attack on Tel Aviv. Breaking news. It says Hamas has launched a rocket attack on Tel Aviv with a direct hit on the building, leaving at least one person perished. Transport authorities closed Israel's main Ben Gurion airport as explosions broke out across the city on Tuesday evening. Residents ran for shelter as hundreds of rockets exploded and warning sirens blared throughout Tel Aviv. This is the rocket fire. An Israeli app that monitors rocket fire shows the extent of the attack. I don't think you've got to say much more. It looks like a Japanese dragon costume. That's how many red little bumpies there. It says 2 women have already been confirmed in airstrikes on 2 houses in the city of Ashkelon near the Strip. It says the deaths came after Israeli fighter jets, attack helicopters, and drones hit more than 130 Hamas military targets, including the home of the Hamas commander, according to the military. 26 Palestinians, including 9 children, have perished as a result. So, no, there's nothing good here. It doesn't matter what side you're on. None of this is good. It really doesn't. Huge blaze at the oil pipeline reportedly hit by strike from Gaza. It says an energy pipeline between Israeli cities of Eilat and Ashkelon have been hit by a rocket fired from Gaza, setting a large oil tank on fire for several hours, according to the Channel 12 broadcaster. It says videos purportedly of the blaze showed huge flames coming out from what appeared to be a large oil tank, with the first reports of the incident emerging Tuesday afternoon. It says the Trans-Is pipeline was damaged in a rocket earlier, currently burning. Oh, so you're telling me that their fuel is affected too right now? One of our country's allies. Huh. So several of our gas lines are affected. Huh. No connection, and I probably there isn't. I'm just saying. Just asking questions. Be best, be free. Give your life to Jesus Christ. He loves you and is waiting for you to accept him into your life. Just ordered EMP shields from home for the home and vehicles. Thanks, Marf and Dex, for all you do. Keep doing. Be Best, Be Free, thank you so much for supporting us through our affiliates. We are truly independent. We do not have a multi-channel network. People like you supporting our affiliates, that is our backbone. So thank you guys. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Over to you, Dex. Over to you, Bob. Let's see here.
Well, lots of extra content on the website. We'll have a few things about the conversation we are just talking about, some additional things there. You can look at. We'll put links to it there so you can follow along. Of course, the saga continues with things on our homeland here with Arizona and other states. That's being covered, as well as a few other interesting topics.
So underneath all of the ones that we covered is web only. This is, of course, all of the more, basically, these are stories we cannot stay neutral on. And I do believe that for the most part, this should stay neutral. And I'm not always perfect. I do have an opinion. And sometimes my opinion is not going to be your opinion. And for that reason, some people may get either offended or they might even just unsubscribe. Who knows? But the point of this show is to make us all think that we can get along even after that. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Dex, can you read me the top 5 over on DLive? And then, of course, Gone Girl 777 takes that spot on YouTube. And Susan Donahue, thank you, and thank you. Able-bodied, yours and Dex work worth so much more. Y'all getting us ready. Y'all, God bless Fooglers and this channel. Able-bodied, you know you don't even have to do anything. Thank you, and thank you. Top 5 on DLive.
In the number 5 position, we have Mary XX, and number 4 is Vault 111. Number 3, The Truth Is Out There. Number 2, Groovy Grandma, and in the number 1 position, thank you very much, is Empress 46 Diana.
And Frog H, thank you so much for your PayPal during the show. Says thank you, Marf and Dex. Thank you for the $10 PayPal. Much appreciated, Frog. And thank you for doing that. It is definitely appreciated. You can always write a longer message there as well. Thank you, and thank you. All right, and to those top 5, and to we're going to be doing the shoutro. It's not a shout out. It's not an outro. It's a shout. Wrong tab. Now I got to start all over. Marfoogle News, blah, 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 show, reading articles, reading articles, EMP shield, reading articles, NordVPN, reading articles, caller, hello, bye. Okay. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. Flow wet, cold tripping. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. By the way, the Marfoogle shoutro is like the credits. It's the credits for the people that matter most. You. Without you, we are nothing. Thank you. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Marfoogle got bad money, bad tag. Bad mamma jamming on the top 5. Going right back now, no right. Everybody really wanna go by side. Hold down, go Marfoogle, no doubt. Come in the back, everybody let your mind. For A, thank you, and I tell you what. In old love, watch your two die. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Able-bodied, be best, be free. Kim Solomon's ain't no trophy. Going back with the team of the same things. Going past the productions. Backwards ingenuity, human tide. Tiger girl 7-2, hit Egyptian high. Princess, Teresa Horton. And Jesse on Scorpio voting. so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Mickey Don, I am working on the bitch now. Creasy on the Valry, so I'm on the seat mine. Watch it do, just a yawn on the Scorpio. Bring it back round, no, I love it, yo. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. On the YouTube side, going back and ride. Human tiger going back on the bomber side. Everybody from the end, now Lily's mom. Day before that, super sticky, that we bomb. Able body in the yo's in the Dex word. Did I miss that outro, audio? Holding on with the William Polio. Maybe yes, pronouns on the polio. Gonna bring it with the cat is going to. Heaven no more education time too. Such a place, no such a place, OC. Going back round, going back, OC. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Everybody going back around, do it now. I'll do it now, dripping on the seminar. Everybody with the top 5 on me side. Going right back now, show you how to ride. Young girl, 7 going back right. 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 Young girl, 7 on the zip line. Young girl, 7 never leaving you. 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 I've got the taste and back music knowledge, y'all. I've got the cragalicious Mario on the Cordula. I run the monkey and the Mr. Roller. I'm about to go down now and to see the follow. Mr. Mr. Cholo. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Tripping. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. I didn't see the winner, none of y'all. Carolina Rouge, kinda gonna kill it ham. Killing his and say his say to share Sheba. I shall find it now, soon to know it. I'm on the bed. We the one that Lord Andrew Veronica. Every balls up, going ready for ya. Now Marshall one gonna call ya. Jay's not organ up in the old jet. Bring it back, Mafia, tripping on the CBD. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Damn flow wet, going on deep, frustrated. Everybody knows exactly how much hate it. Hope now, bring it down. Everybody knows now. Marfoogle got so much soul dripping. Don't get yourself flow wet, cold tripping. Give me one holiday kiss, bring it back now, everybody says hi. Brother and everybody knows another. Billy Dean and the David Lord for the coffee. Harry Paul and the Lord Andrew, doing everything they do. Carolina roots, got the wolves in the wolves. Motherfucker got so much soul dripping, don't get yourself blow wet, cold tripping. Motherfucker got so much soul dripping, don't get yourself blow wet, cold tripping. Motherfucker got so much soul dripping. Number 1 tonight, Empress, thank you so much. Groovy Grandma in the number 2 spot, and Vault 111. Empress on the 45, rewind. Empress 46, Diana. Empress 46, Diana. Bring it right back, bring it your camera. Empress 46, Diana. Empress 46, Diana. Overly got a kick on camera. Empress 46, then Diana. Empress 46, Diana.